Brock Purdy, he's not exclusively atop the MVP campaign right now because Dak Prescott is still balling. So, Joy, my question for you is very simple, and it really will end up being the most polarizing question in all of sports. What in the world would it take for Brock Purdy to win MVP this season?
A time machine.
Time machine.
Back to week 5.
Why?
Why week 5?
Because we know too much. I know too much. You know when somebody shows up brand new,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they feeling good, they flexing a little bit, and you're like, good for you. But you know too much. You know what I mean? You know where they got the car from. You know what I mean? You know where the suit. You know, like you just like, all right,
your brother's shoes.
I ain't gonna hate. Like I'm not gonna hate, but I know too much. So just keep that over there. Brock Purdy has played at a really high level throughout the entire season, except for those 3 weeks, and that was the period. That's the time when you show I'm that guy. It doesn't matter we don't have Trent Williams. It doesn't matter we don't have Debo. We don't got to blow people out the way that we're blowing everybody else out. We don't care. All the wins and losses count the same. They don't get extra points because they blew the Cowboys out. They don't get extra points because they blew the Eagles out or the Jags or anybody else. Win the games. Win one of the games.
Explain for clarity, because I know what you're talking about. We've talked about it off camera. What do you know? Go back to that 3-week span. Who was absent?
Trent Williams wasn't there. Debo wasn't there.
Debo.
The defense was also struggling. They went 0-3. He had 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 6 giveaways, had a passer rating of 77. All the other games, a passer rating of 129. He's 20-1 touchdown to interception. He's a whole different quarterback. So it's not to say that he's not a great quarterback when everyone's available. But if you have to immediately include a qualifier, if we're talking about the most valuable player, it's tough for me to put you in that spot. Now, does he play the most valuable position? Yes. What happened in the postseason NFC Championship game? He gets taken out the game, they lose. So, yes, he does play the most important and vital position to any NFL team. But you're not the most valuable player on your own team on your side of the ball. Yeah. And you're not even the second most valuable player. You're not even the third most valuable player. Best player. You've got Trent Williams, got Debo Samuel, you got Christian McCaffrey. So when we're talking about the most valuable player, it's not shade to what Brock Purdy is capable of. It's just acknowledging what he's also not capable of. And yes, you can say any player would look bad in that situation. You could say that, but we don't want to start digging up any kind of evidence and proof that players can overcome missing some of their best players.
Yeah.
Like you should steal one of those games.
Yeah.
You should beat the third stringer for the Browns. You should be able to figure out a way to win. And while we acknowledge that this is a defense first team, if we're going to accept that, then we kind of also have to include that if the defense is playing well, you also struggle. That everything goes as on the tone of the defensive side of the ball. So it's hard. I just know too much. I know too much about this team. As a whole, they are an unbelievable, dominant, smash mouth, great football team. But if you're talking about the quarterback being the most valuable player in the league, I'm not going to say it's impossible because there's still some football to play. Maybe he goes on some unbelievable historical run. Who knows? But as it stands right now, including that information that we have and we watched with our eyeballs, I can't say he's the most valuable player in the league.
I think that's a very good take. It would take Brock Purdy going 14-3, winning the rest of the games and dominating to win MVP. Now, as an MVP voter, full transparency, unless Brock Purdy balls out of his mind, I will likely not have him number 1 on my ballot, though he would likely be on my ballot.
What does ball out of his mind mean?
5 touchdowns, no picks. 4 touchdowns, no picks. 3 touchdowns, no picks. 3 touchdowns, no picks. 4 touchdowns, no picks. Then I'd be like, hey, I can't deny it. But here's my thing. When I think of value, like Joy said, when Brock Purdy played the Minnesota Vikings, there was 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. When he played the Cincinnati Bengals, it was 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. When he played the Cleveland Browns, Trent Williams played, though he was hobbled. Brock Purdy did lead his team down the field, but why did Kyle Shanahan not even have enough trust or at least intuition to keep trying to get more than settle for a field goal with the rookie field goal kicker? So Brock Purdy just didn't show me that he was the most valuable player on the offense. Based upon the data that I have consumed, I believe Trent Williams is the most valuable player on that offense, and or Debo Samuel, and or nor Christian McCaffrey. But based on the data I've consumed, I don't think Brock Purdy is the most valuable. But if he goes 14-3, the voters, by large majority and by congruence of votes, will make that man the most valuable player in football. And I would understand their why.
Yeah.
I've seen too much tape to agree with him being the most valuable, but I would understand the why.
Yeah, and I was listening to Joy's take, and all that is spot on, right? Because we've seen him in that 3-game span not play well. And you two were blaming it on the defense. Us two were blaming it on Brock Purdy not playing well. So for me, the only way he can win this award, because I do believe the Niners are probably going to win out, and they probably are going to finish the season 14-3. But for me, it's going to have to be some games to where if the Eagles did score both those touchdowns and he's down 14 and he comes back to win. If he gets down in a couple of these games, if something happens to where, hey, special teams fumble or whatever happens, but you're down in a ball game by double digits and you come back and you are the reason why your team won. And if you are the reason why your team won and you have come back from a couple of these leads and you find yourself at 14-3, it's going to be hard to take it away from him being at 14-3, because you're going to be able to put the numbers up there next to any of these quarterbacks that you're thinking of putting it up against, and he's beat 3 of the best. Yeah. The Trevor Lawrence, the Jalen Hurts, the Dak Prescott, so I need to see that, because I do not want to see Debo get hurt again or Trent get hurt. I don't want to see you without your guys. But what I do want to see is, okay, it ain't looking good. Everything ain't on schedule right now. I can't just throw these screens. I got to take some chances down the football field, and I'm making the right decisions, and we won and we came back from these games because of Brock Purdy, and I think he's going to have a really good chance to get it.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
Brock Purdy.
Now Brock Purdy should be one of the MVP guys, number 1, number 2. Like, this award is just getting crazier and crazier. No quarterback is just like balling out like that. It's like, yo, he's the MVP this year. It got to be Tyreek Hill. That's my only answer right now. When everybody asks me about who the MVP is, and then, like when they say a quarterback, I'm like, well, why? Because you conditioned to think about a quarterback, right? And we can look at these geeks from Vegas that draw up these numbers of plus 200 and plus. How y'all know? How y'all know? And nobody's talking about it. Like, if you look at a kid like Tyreek Hill, the stuff he's doing, the way he's playing, the stuff he's on pace to do, and in football and history that we've never done, how is he not up there? We gonna talk about Brock Purdy because he has some couple good games. This is crazy, man. After you done seen this team, the Niners, put anybody at quarterback and they win these games, right? I'm not taking nothing from Brock Purdy because he's a really good quarterback. He's playing well. He has his moments, but he's playing well. But like to be the MVP, do you know what that means?
Yep.
When I think of MVP, I think like
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody blowing you away like that, but Tyreek Hill. So unless you're gonna blow me away, I can't agree with this. So I'm sorry to be outside the box.
Stay outside the box.
But it's like, come on, man.
I love that train of thought. James, you bring up something fascinating. I'll take us to break with it, is because people at home are probably thinking that's asinine. You need to see Brock Purdy overcome a deficit in order to win MVP. Like, what if he plays so good he's never behind? But it is interesting that overcoming adversity enhances your perceived greatness.
No question.
I didn't realize how good Shady was, true story, until we played the Detroit Lions in 8 inches of snow. When we played the Lions in 8 inches of snow, and Shady balled out of his mind, that's when I was like,
He wasn't convinced until then, Shady.
That was when I realized, no, this dude different.
He got the same cleats on as everybody else.
Bro, he was running like it was 70 and sunny. Call the timeout.
Wait, your first year with the Eagles was what year?
2013.
So the 185 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That didn't mean that to him,
Redskins.
That didn't mean that to him, Shady.
Stopping the cut and going. Celebrating the buck.
No,
I didn't mean that.
because here's what it was.
What about in camp when nobody can put their hands on me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
When you did the same thing in the snow,
it's different.
and then nobody else could do it, that's what I
What
was
was the
like,
celebration, Shady?
oh.
I'm just saying,
Whoa.
I'm scoring 20 yards out with the ball in the air, celebrating, taunting the crowd.
It wasn't in the snow.
I ain't really, I'm not the most workout dude. He can't be that good. I just come out.
I have seen other people do that.
You did? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But look, when it was snowing, that was adversity.
Well, you know.
Everybody else was slipping. We was sliding. We was changing cleats. Shady was out there, bro. I swear to God. He was out there like it was 75 and sunny. I was watching the game like, how in the world is this human doing this?
So when you came from college at Texas, big Texas, right? You came to the pros, and your first active game, your boy player of the game, 185, 2 touchdowns.
It didn't mean nothing, Shady.
Hold up. Well, you want ooh, wow, like, ooh, wow. None of that.
Oh, that didn't
Okay,
mean
like,
that.
These last two touchdowns is crazy.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Amen.
10 years to the day, that game.
Yeah.
Is it?
That snow game. 10 years to the day. That's crazy. I know that joint like yesterday.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.